All right, three, two, one, and we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Wandering Bear Sports Podcast, the number one sports podcast in the world, proudly brought to you each and every week by Caffeine Chewing Gum Australia. So caffeine chewing gum was a product I first discovered when I was at the Melbourne Rebels in 2015. I think I talk about this every single time we're on the podcast. It's batch tested. We're currently in the AFL. Olympic athletes use it. It's honestly a sensational product. I'm so happy that I thought to sell it, and it's just going through the roof. So thanks to everyone who's been buying it and supporting it. It's a company that Kate and I own, so everything people buy through that goes back into doing these podcasts. So yeah, that's enough advertising for today. What I thought I'd do is push myself a little bit and do a little bit of an update and a solo podcast. So, I spent a lot of the days on my own. So I'm not used to just talking to myself, but I thought I haven't done a podcast for a while. So it might be good to just give people an update on what's been going on, what I've been doing, and where the podcast has been, because I've been getting a lot of questions about it. Something I got to learn to do is breathe when I talk, because I get puffed too easily. So I'm going to do this in one take. So if I say any stupid shit, it's going in, and there's going to be no editing. So I guess this week, Jed Gillespie's busy at work. He's got a job now. So the Loosehead Sports one will be on again next week. That's a bit of fun. And we talk about, honestly, one of the highlights of my week. We just talk a bit of shit, talk about some of the things going on in the world of sport and the world in general. And, Jed's been around as long as I have, even though he looks way older, and he's got a really good take on things and thinks things through considerably more than I do. So I always like picking his brain on stuff going on in rugby and coaching. And, we both started our coaching careers at the same time. So we're kind of, we're at the same development stage, and it's really fun picking his brain every week. So I'm enjoying that. So it's a little more lighthearted than the Wandering Bear Sports one. So check that out. That's a Loosehead Sports show on Spotify and YouTube. And I don't think it's on Apple, so I've got to sort that out. And what have I been doing? So initially with this podcast, I thought I was only going to get my friends on here. And I know quite a few decent level human beings in the rugby world. I played with and against them and gone to know some good guys over the years, but I didn't anticipate or expect to be talking to guys like Pat Lamb, Michael Hooper, Kieran Reid, Laurie Fisher, after only doing a few episodes. So it's kind of exceeded my wildest expectations in terms of the people that I've been getting to speak to. And I've learned so much doing it. It's been, initially it started as an excuse to talk to my friends. I always wanted to do a podcast, and I underestimated who I'd be able to actually speak to. And my initial thought is that rugby does such a terrible job of telling the stories of the people involved compared to league. Like if you look at Denham Kemp and Bloke in a Bar, he's doing a fantastic job of sharing some of the stories of the people involved. So that was my initial thought, and I'm probably going to go back to that a little bit. And then I started doing a couple of the coaches, and people loved it. So it's become a bit of a coach education tool, because I'm learning to coach, and I love that stuff as well. And it appears that there's a lot of people that do love that. So it's become a bit about that. And then, pardon me, I'm getting puffed again. During the lockdown, I spoke to Laurie Fisher, and he was just awesome. And he's a guy that I've admired for such a long time. But coming off that, I was just a bit flat. I'm going, and I know you're not supposed to say this kind of stuff because you're supposed to be positive and bubbly the whole time. But one of the things I've learned doing this podcast is you just got to be true to yourself and be honest. And I was just flat. I'm going, who do I go to from here? Like, where do I go? I can't just, because he's such an engaging human who has such good views on development and coaching And I just took so much from that it was like, oh yeah, I was just, for a lack of any other way of saying it, I was just flat after that. And then the world opened up again. And, from someone that was getting up at 5 a.m. every day to walk 10 kilometers and listening to audiobooks and exercising and, doing a lot of personal development stuff, I've gone, hey, what if the world shuts down again? I'm going to make the most of this. So I started enjoying myself a little bit too much. Then coaching at South started again, and I ended up getting a huge amount of work, which I'm super grateful for. And if anyone wants a highlight reel, please come to me. We got really quick turnarounds, and I'm one of the only ones of those people that actually played and coaches at a high level. So thank you for all those guys who are doing that. So podcasting kind of went to the back of the list a little bit because it's something that is quite time consuming. While I might only talk on here for an hour or 40 minutes or whatever it is, you got to do a lot of preparation. You got to edit clips. You got to get it online. So it ends up taking almost, you can do it really quickly sometimes, but realistically, it's probably a day's work. And I just couldn't swing it for the last little period of time. So, man, I'm getting puffed just talking. Which is terrible, by the way. I've been getting very unfit. But what I'm going to do, it's kind of not really been planned, anything that I've done. I've just gone, hey, that's a cool person. Let's see if they'll talk to me. And I think I've only had one person not say yes immediately, which has been really, really cool. And I've had a lot of international coaches messaging me going, oh, mate, love your podcast, love what you're doing. Which really helps keep it going because, eventually I'd like to earn $1 doing this. The caffeine gum goes really well, but I feel like we've got some good content and could eventually earn something out of this, even though I'm not doing it for that reason. I'm really doing it because I enjoy it. So the plan now is I'm going to start reaching out to a few people again. I don't just want to do rugby, but I figure rugby's the market at the moment, and I've got an international forwards coach who's agreed to come on, who is someone that I have admired and been a fan of for a really long time. So I'm excited about that, and I'm going to start reaching out to a few more people within rugby and other sports just to get a variety of people's stories on. Like, for me, like obviously rugby is a big part of my life, but I got so many other interests, and I want to use this as an excuse for people who want to learn more, because I want to learn more. So that's where that's going. So I'm going to start doing it more regularly. I got to pump it out. I'm trying to streamline the process a little bit. But there's just a lot going on. And what's been really cool is a lot of the stuff the coaches have been teaching me that I've been learning through the coaches that I've spoken to. I've now had the chance to practically apply it on the training paddock. And, you can learn all the theories in the world, but unless you actually get on the grass and start doing it, you go, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that doesn't make sense for me. Oh, maybe I didn't say it that well. And it speeds the learning up, I think. So if you're a coach or you're just starting as a coach out there, it's good to learn the theories. But for me anyway, you got to get out in the grass and actually apply it practically. Yeah. So that is probably enough coaching chat. I thought it might be fun to share some of the things I've learned doing podcasts. Even though I haven't planned any of this, it's just coming to me. So one of the biggest things I learned about doing a podcast is that it's actually a wonderful marketing tool. And I didn't anticipate that. So every time I put out a podcast, I sell caffeine gum every single time. And I think if you're a business and you have access to some interesting people that you can potentially talk to, there's a market for podcasting and to get your story out. And it's amazing the instant credibility you get just from doing a podcast. So before I started podcasting, I never would have been asked to MC a lunch. impossible, or talk at a lunch or go to anything, or or have people ask my opinion. Like, it just very rarely would have happened. And ever since I started doing a podcast, I've been invited to MC lunches with famous coaches. I've been invited to be guest speaker. I go on the radio every week to talk shit about rugby. So it's like, I think it's like writing a book. You get a certain amount of instant credibility. So I'd recommend to anyone, if you've got a business and you have the ability to talk a little bit of shit, start a podcast. It's super easy, and it's really fun too. I really like doing it. It's one of those things, like, even if I don't make a cent doing this for the rest of my life, I'm going to keep doing it, because how often in life do you get to sit down and just pick the brain of someone you're interested in for an hour? It just never happens. So for that reason alone, it's worth doing. The other thing I've learned is, and it's probably not too much to do with podcasts and more to do with me, is you got to be very careful with what you say. And I don't mean that from a censoring yourself. I mean, as in your self-talk. And it's something that I've been very bad at for a long time. And it's being self-deprecating and feeling like that'll make other people feel better to bring you down a bit. But being self-deprecating, whilst it can be funny sometimes, is probably not something that you want to do. And it's not something that I want to do. So be very careful with your self-talk. It's something I've tried very hard to change since doing this podcast. And it's something that I learned talking to a couple of the coaches. It's words really matter, and it really matters, particularly talking to yourself. So there's that. What's going on, the email thing? Sorry for anyone listening. Something's just popped up on the computer. Fucker. Cancel. Sorry. We're back. Yeah, something that I've found fascinating is back yourself. Back yourself. I've already spoken about this, but I didn't anticipate the people that I was going to get on here. And realistically, I probably should have aimed high to start with, because it's the best people like to share. And like Wayne Smith told me a great story. Yeah, I've had Wayne Smith, one of the greatest coaches of all time, on this podcast. Absolutely crazy to me that he would want to talk to me, but the best absolutely share what they know, and they're willing to help others. So Wayne Smith told me a great story about when Graham Henry was coach of the Blues. And every year in New Zealand, they have like a conference where all the winning coach would share what they did for that season to all the other coaches, their attacking shape, their defensive shape, every little thing that went into them being successful. And Wayne asked Graham, why did you do that? And he goes, because it helps me come up with new ideas. It helps me evolve, and it helps me get better, because now you guys all know what I'm doing. So I've got to come up with new, more innovative ideas. So I thought it was really cool. And I don't know if that would ever happen in Australia. I think it should, though, because, from the really good guys I've spoken to, if you're sharing what you know, you're actually learning. It helps you more than it helps the other person. And I found that since I started coaching properly as well. It's my understanding from having to coach it and explain it simply has just gone through the roof. And yeah, I think if you know something, you got to share it. So that's another thing I've learned doing the podcast. Social media matters. So if you're listening to this, please follow me on Instagram immediately at Wandering Bear Sports. Follow me immediately. There's a lot of podcasts out now with far less quality content who have a lot more social media following. So all that shit makes a huge difference. I got to put more effort in there. I personally, it's, how do you say this without sounding like an excuse? It's fucking time consuming doing all that shit. And I don't necessarily like doing it, but I got to do it. I got to share more, and I'm going to share more. So going forward, there'll be a lot more memes, a lot more content, a lot more breakdowns of rugby stuff. So I've got to work out how I can do all that. Yeah. So if anyone is listening, follow me on Facebook at Wandering Bear Sports. Follow me on Instagram at Wandering Bear Sports. Subscribe to YouTube. Subscribe to everything. The more people that see this, and I get so many messages with people telling me that it's good shit, the better it'll be, and the more people can learn. So social media. What else have I fucking learned? Yeah. Oh man, I've learned so many fucking things. You gotta be consistent. So I've been playing around with, consistency. So you could do like the Joe Rogan model where he puts it out every day, or you could do once a week, or you could do like just a quality thing. So rather than just putting something out every week for the sake of putting something out, you just go like once every 3 weeks, once every 2 weeks, once a month, and just make it fucking awesome. So I know that this next guest I've got will be extremely popular because he is fucking awesome. So there's that. Another thing, I'm just rambling at this point. Another thing, and I always knew this, but it's kind of been reinforced to me doing podcasting, is that absolute key is to be yourself. There's so many other people doing this shit who are all trying to be a certain thing that, like for me, I've had mothers reach out to me and say, don't swear. We love what you're doing, but we can't get the kids listening. And then I had someone else go, keep swearing. We love it. I love that you swear. And then someone's gone, I really like it when you organize your interviews and plan it because you can tell. And then other people go, I really like it when you don't plan your interviews because it's just more free flowing and more enjoyable. And it's like we're listening to you in a pub. And it's the same with business. You should plan your business. You shouldn't plan your business. You should have better production. You should just keep it low budget. And every single one of those people and their opinions is right. But for me, I swear a lot, so I'm going to swear a lot. Some people you need to prepare for. Like I've had a number of people who want questions beforehand. So you do it because if, I'm speaking to guys like Anthony Seabold, who in my opinion is an absolute superstar. If he wants questions, I'm going to send him questions. Laurie Fisher didn't really want questions, which was really cool. And to me, I didn't write a single thing down for him. I could have spoken to him for 10 hours and not had a break in the conversation. So be yourself. The production does matter. People are right about that. I've got a webcam. I've got this good mic, which took me about 25, 30 episodes in to actually get. Eventually, we're going to have like a little studio, but I've got to actually make some money doing this before that happens. And what else have I learned? So be yourself. It's a wonderful marketing tool. Ask good people. And I think you got to be interesting. You got to be an interesting person. Like, be interested and be interesting. So one of the things I've made a real habit of doing is only speaking to people that I'm very interested in, because for me, it's easy. It's easy to talk to guys like Pat Lambs. Like, to me, he's a rock star in the coaching world. And to be able to pick his brain about leadership, coaching, life, that was an absolute treat. And to me, I kind of knew all the stuff he was going to say because I'd listened to all his interviews, and he didn't disappoint. If anything, he over delivered. But to me, I could have talked to that guy for 15 fucking hours because I was interested in him. So there's that. What else should we talk about? Coaching has evolved for me. I just started because I wanted to stay involved. But it's become way more than that. And the more you learn, the more you realize you don't actually know anything. Like, you know a bit, but there's just so much more to learn. Like, I've started reading a lot of listening to a lot of Nick Winkelman's stuff on external cueing, learning more about different elements of the game, the human element of it, how to manage different personalities, how to teach different personalities. And like, to me, that's the biggest part of it, because I think, and this is just me speaking through my ass here, is that the tactical and technical stuff is probably the easiest stuff to learn, but it's the culture, the leadership, building the community, dealing with expectations, dealing with, I've had to speak to parents, which is not something I ever expected to do. Planning, which is something I'm terrible at. Kate will tell you that everything good that's ever happened in my life has just happened all by accident. And you can't do that as a coach. You got to plan, you got to think things through, and you got to work out where you want to go, which has been very, very good for me. And how to teach different people. Like, you could tell me something, I could tell you something, and then I tell that, and you get it immediately, whereas the next person's not going to get it. So you've got to work out how to get through to a variety of different people, personalities, and learning styles, which is just fucking fascinating to me. So I've really enjoyed that. And look, we got a really good group at South. I was a little bit worried that some of them might not take me seriously. But without exception, they've all been fucking awesome and, open. And, if I make a mistake, I'll admit it. Which I think is helpful, because one of my biggest pet peeves as a human being is when I spend time at an unnamed Super Rugby franchise, if I would ask people questions that I knew they didn't know the answer to, just to see what they said, because they would always come up with something. And to me, if I don't know something, I'm going to say I don't know it, but let's find it out, because you can't fucking know everything. And I don't respect people that just pretend like they know something, even when they clearly don't. So I've done that a lot. I'm just talking through my ass at this point. And yeah, it's fascinating. Learning different areas of the game, being a head coach as opposed to a forwards coach. Obviously, during this part of the year, I'm not really doing a lot of head coaching stuff, but I'm watching a lot of what our head coach does, and just trying to pick up everything I can and soak it all in. And mate, changing culture is so interesting to me, because I think it's the hardest thing to create, and you've got to, I honestly, we've had a very good, explanation, demonstration. I don't quite know the right word, but we've had a very good display of how to change culture at our club at the moment. And it's, to be on the inside and to watch that, and to have been there for a long period of time, it's quite remarkable. I'm trying to soak as much of it in as I can. And, I've been there for 16 years through some good, some bad, and some awful, and some indifferent. And I've never been more excited about it, because it's some good, some really good's happening. And I think we'll get results, but the results may not come overnight, but the results you'll get from building this culture long term will be substantial, if substantially different from if we didn't have it. If that makes any sense. I'm not sure if it does, but I'm buzzing about it, and everyone involved at the moment is loving it too. So there's been that. I've been doing my level 3 coaching course, which has been good. It's made me realize that I'm on a really good path of what I'm learning. And it's cool to pick the brains of some other guys who are currently involved in the Shoot Shield and have been doing it a lot longer than I have. Just been cool. Got one more week of that. And just trying to hustle gum, sell videos, making websites for people, just doing all my thing. Feel free to reach out to me if you want me to talk about anything. I might do a solo podcast every now and again. It's not been as hard as I thought it would be. I think I've become good at talking shit. Next year it's going to be every single week. I'm going to try and pump these out as much as possible. I might even try and get people to help me. If I reach out to you to do a podcast, please say yes. And I'm going to try and do one every week. So I'm going to mix it up with coaches, players, people from all different walks of life, so that this becomes the number one rugby podcast in Australia. And hopefully we'll do other sports as well because of that. And yeah, hopefully we can learn some shit together and, spread the good word to some of these people, man. Because, I've had 2 international captains, World Cup winners, the greatest rugby coach of all time, the English Premiership Coach of the Year, the current England defense coach and a former NRL coach. I've had the Japan Top League head coach. I've had one of Australia's best coaches over a long period of time, Mr. Laurie Fisher. Super Rugby champion, Mike Yalatoa, the great man who I absolutely fucking love speaking to. And Al has agreed to come on, so I'm putting you on the spot here, Al, but I'm going to reach out to you again soon, buddy. And yeah, it's been very cool, very cool. Everyone's got a good story, and to be able to share it and to have them to share it with me and with you guys is pretty fucking cool. And yeah, it means a lot to me. And yeah, guys, yeah, I haven't looked at the camera much. That's the downside of not planning anything, is that you just tend to spit out random shit. And when you're thinking, you look away and look down and all that kind of stuff. But thank you, everyone, for the support. It means a lot to me. This thing's been building really slowly. Follow me on YouTube, but it is building. Like I feel like I'm onto something good here because we got good people, good chat. I think once I can get the production value up, do a bit more on the social medias, which I will try to do. No, which I will do. This thing could become something really cool. So thank you for fucking with me. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. It's just a button. I promise I'll share some good shit. And hopefully this podcast doesn't put anyone, this solo podcast doesn't put off anyone coming on in the future. I know it's a little frowned upon to be so open, but I'm just gonna be really honest and open at all times. And it'll either work or it won't work. But at the end of the day, I can live with myself because I'm just going to be myself. So love you guys. Buy caffeine gum, www.caffeinegumaustralia.com/shop. And yeah, have a great fucking week and we'll see you soon. This next podcast, really exciting. I honestly can't wait to speak to him and share it. And if I ask you to come on, please say yes. I know I've said that 3 times. Let's finish it there. Until we speak again. Peace.